Have you ever wondered where the mighty Pteranodon laid its eggs or how it nurtured its young? Allow me to introduce the Pteranodon, a majestic flying reptile that dominated the skies during the late Cretaceous period. With a wingspan that could reach over 18 feet, these airborne behemoths were a sight to behold. Despite our extensive knowledge about their physical characteristics, there's an air of mystery surrounding their nesting habits. The scarcity of fossil evidence has left scientists with more questions than answers. Did these creatures nest in trees like many modern birds? Or did they prefer the seclusion of caves or cliff ledges like their distant relatives, the bats? By comparing the Pteranodon to similar species and considering the environmental factors of the late Cretaceous, we can hypothesize possible nesting locations. These hypotheses, while not definitive, offer tantalizing possibilities. As we unravel the mystery of Pteranodon's nests, we step into the journey of their life cycle, a journey that begins with the hatching of an egg. A Pteranodon's life begins in an egg, but what happens after it hatches? It's a captivating journey, really. After a gestation period, the Pteranodon egg would hatch, revealing a tiny, vulnerable hatchling. This little creature, though barely a fraction of the size it would grow to be, was already equipped for the challenges of the Cretaceous period. As the Pteranodon grew, its physical development was quite remarkable. Even from a young age, it exhibited the distinctive features of its kind, including a long beak and a crest on its head. By the time it reached full size, it would stand taller than an average human, with a wingspan to match. Interestingly, our Pteranodon friends likely had to fend for themselves from the moment they hatched. They would learn to fly and hunt at a young age, honing their skills to survive in a world full of predators. From hatching to surviving on their own, Pteranodons displayed remarkable adaptability and resilience, traits they carried into adulthood. As Pteranodons mature, their thoughts turn to reproduction, but how did these creatures attract mates and raise their young? Just as with many species today, it's likely that the Pteranodons engaged in some form of mating ritual. Some scientists speculate that these rituals might have included aerial displays of agility and strength, or perhaps even a show of their impressive wingspans. They might have used their crests, which varied in size and shape between males and females, to attract potential mates. However, this is all conjecture based on the behavior of modern birds and reptiles, as the fossil record doesn't provide explicit evidence of these behaviors. Once a successful match was made, the next step was to lay eggs. Pteranodons likely laid their eggs in nests, much like modern birds. These nests would have been carefully crafted and placed in safe, out-of-reach locations to protect the eggs from predators. The Pteranodons would then have to keep a watchful eye on their precious cargo, ready to ward off any threats. But here's where things get interesting. Unlike many modern birds, Pteranodons may not have been doting parents. Once the eggs were laid, the adults might have left them to their own devices. Some scientists hypothesize that Pteranodon hatchlings were precocial, meaning they were relatively mature and mobile from the moment of birth. If this was the case, it's likely that the parents didn't stick around to feed and care for their offspring, but instead left them to fend for themselves from day one. This might seem harsh, but it's a strategy that works for many species. After all, in a world filled with predators and other dangers, sometimes the best thing a parent can do is to give their offspring a strong start and then let them learn to survive on their own. In the face of a harsh and unforgiving world, Pteranodons utilized unique reproductive and nesting strategies to ensure the survival of their species.